the lanterns of Hanami Bridge. In the heart of Kyoto, where cherry blossoms painted the skies every spring, there stood an old wooden bridge known as Hanami Bridge. It was said that anyone who made a wish while walking across it during the Cherry Blossom Festival would have their heart's desire granted, if their heart was true. Aiko, a gentle and reserved artist, came to the bridge every year with her sketchbook. She had always drawn alone, capturing the fleeting beauty of the blossoms as they fell like snow. Though she had many admirers of her art, she had never let anyone close enough to admire her heart. Then came Ren, a traveling writer from Tokyo. He had come to Kyoto in search of peace, hoping the serene countryside would heal the wounds left by a failed engagement. He wandered through the festival, lost in the rhythm of paper lanterns and laughter, until he found himself at Hanami Bridge. There, he saw her. She was seated at the edge, sketching furiously, her long black hair dancing with the wind. A petal fell onto her page, and she didn't brush it away. Intrigued, Ren spoke. "Do the petals help you draw?" he asked, his voice half joking. Aiko looked up, surprised, and then smiled. "They remind me how quickly beauty fades," she replied. From that simple exchange, something bloomed between them. Over tea and quiet walks, they shared stories, hopes, and the pain that shaped them. Ren found himself in her paintings. Aiko found herself in his words. Spring passed, and with it, the blossoms. Ren had to return to Tokyo. But before he left, he met Aiko one last time on Hanami Bridge. "I don't believe in wishes," she whispered. "But I do," he replied. "Because mine is standing right in front of me." He took a small lantern from his coat, a blank one. "Write your name," he said. "And I'll write mine." They released it together, watching it rise into the night, joining a sea of floating lights. A year passed. Aiko returned to the bridge, alone again. She waited under the cherry trees, not drawing this time, just waiting. And then, she heard his voice. "I came back," Ren said, holding a worn notebook filled with stories. "But I don't want to write about love anymore. I want to live it." Tears welled in Aiko's eyes. "Then start with me." Beneath the blossoms, they kissed for the first time. The wind carried petals around them like confetti, as if nature itself celebrated their union. From that day forward, Hanami Bridge became more than a place of wishes. It became their beginning, year after year, as they returned with lanterns, and love that never faded. Whispers of the Wind. In the quiet coastal town of Ainsley, where the sea whispered secrets to the wind and the lighthouses stood like silent sentinels, lived a girl named Alara. She was a painter, known for her seascapes that captured the melancholy of the horizon. Her small gallery sat at the edge of the harbor, where boats bobbed gently on the tide and the scent of salt lingered in the air. Alara lived a peaceful, if somewhat solitary, life. Her days were filled with canvas, color, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore. She loved the quiet, but sometimes, when dusk fell and the gulls flew home, she felt a hollow in her chest that no art could fill. Everything changed on a rainy afternoon in October. He came in soaked, tall and unfamiliar, holding a drenched bouquet of wildflowers. His name was Caleb, a travel writer passing through Ainsley, chasing storms and stories. He had soft brown eyes that carried the depth of distant places, and a voice like wind through leaves. I was looking for shelter, he said, brushing rain from his coat, but I think I found something better. They talked for hours that day, the storm outside forgotten. He asked about her paintings, she asked about his travels. There was something effortless about their connection, like two melodies meeting in perfect harmony. Over the next few weeks, Caleb kept finding reasons to visit Alara's gallery. They walked along the cliffs, shared coffee at the harbor cafe, and watched the moonrise in comfortable silence. He told her about ancient cities and midnight deserts. She showed him how she captured emotions in brushstrokes. Alara found herself painting differently. Her colors were warmer, her skies less lonely. She didn't say it aloud, but Caleb had become the light in her seascape. But like all beautiful things, their time was borrowed. Caleb's publisher called a 6-month assignment in South America. He was torn, his suitcase packed but heart unsure. Alara, ever the realist, smiled through the ache. You have to go, she said softly, but promise me you'll come back. He kissed her forehead, whispering, the wind brought me to you, Alara. It'll bring me back. And then he was gone. Days turned to weeks. Letters arrived, stories of rainforests, cities, sunsets. Alara read every word, keeping them pressed between the pages of her sketchbook. She painted still, but her skies waited. Her waves watched. Then one spring morning, nearly 7 months later, she stood in her gallery, lost in a new canvas. And the door creaked open. There he was. Caleb, sun-kissed and smiling, holding a new bouquet of wildflowers. You kept your promise, she whispered, eyes brimming. I told you, he said, stepping closer, the wind always knows the way back to you. They embraced as if the ocean itself paused to breathe. The townspeople say that the next painting Alara hung in her gallery was her finest, a windswept shore with two figures walking hand in hand, the sea behind them, and the horizon lit in gold. They called it Homecoming. And in that painting, you could hear it, the whisper of love carried on the wind.